Yeah, first time in a while. Liana.
Hello, I'm back wearing my Hulk shirt.
Yep.
Yay. We're finally
And
doing Marvel.
we're finally doing Marvel as we're going over Daredevil Father. Joe Quesada wrote and drew this, and let's just say this is a notorious book. Both for its delays, it was notoriously late.
Yeah. I mean, Marvel is late a lot more than DC regularly,
Yeah,
but
but especially during Quesada's day.
yeah. I mean, yeah, this was mid 2000s, right?
2000 and hold on. Yeah, 2004-ish is when it came out.
Right. Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And this was actually, and this is his first time doing the character since the Kevin Smith, arc he did.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, and
Yeah.
this was part of the Marvel Knights imprint.
And it deserves it. It wasn't a full-on Max book, but it was it gets borderline there at times.
Yeah. I kind of like the days where they had the demarcations. I know it splintered things, especially
Yep.
with Marvel Max, but
But at least Max, you knew, oh, it's rated. This is R-rated or NC-17 rated.
Yeah, it wasn't. Whoa, what did I just read?
Exactly. Whereas Knights was for teens. Okay, but look at this.
Chunky Daredevil.
Hell in Hell's Kitchen. Here, you learn to grow up fast. And there's really only one lesson you need to learn if you want to survive this jungle. It's a lesson Battle and Jack Murdoch made sure I learned well. Battle and Jack was my father. He made his living as a boxer. Let's just say he wasn't big on words, which was fine. I wasn't big on listening. He did, however, have a way of getting me to open my eyes. Like, and what my eyes have seen, like when I discovered and Dad also made a bit of spare change, roughing up the locals on behalf of the neighborhood wise guys. As a kid, I saw a lot of bad stuff, enough to last a lifetime, which was good, because pretty soon I wouldn't be able to see anything at all. Dad always said, no good deed ever goes unpunished. I think that has something to do with Mom running out on him, but I'm not sure. What I do know is that the day I saved a blind man from being hit by a truck transporting hazardous waste must have been exactly what he was talking about. Not surprising how the chemical cocktail that poured into my eyes and face made me go blind. What was surprising was what it did for remaining senses. Since then, my life has become a symphony of scents, taste, sounds, and textures. Makes you realize how eyesight can just sort of get in your way, especially when you try to do stuff like this. But yeah, in memory of Jose Luis Quesada, his father. The kitchen's quiet tonight. Good. For too long, this place has been a cesspool. A cesspool that sucked my father in and flushed him out. A cesspool that taught him how to pay his rent and resolve his problems with his fists and leave that legacy to his son. No matter how often Battle and Jack Murdoch urged me to hit the books, his actions said quite different. That to really get things done, you had to hit something else. Sometimes someone else. So that's what I've done. I've been putting on this silly red devil suit for much longer than I care to remember. And I've been hitting all the right someones as often as I can. Lately, more often than I care to think about. Sometimes I think I accomplish more with my fist than with my law firm. Sometimes I don't really care. All I know is that the kitchen's quiet tonight, and that's good. Thanks, Pop. Happy Father's Day. Okay, that's a good image. Yeah, you agree with that? Just like, yeah, Father's Day, and at least, yes, he still looks like a slab of beef.
Yeah, Chunky Daredevil's weird, but
but that's the weird thing, though. He didn't draw him that chunky when he did
no, I know
Kevin Smith stuff. So why is he chunky here?
Very chunky. He's a unit.
Yeah. Weatherman says there's a heat wave coming. He's right. I can feel it in my bones. Morning, Foggy. Morning, Matt. So who have you got this morning? Maggie Farrell got here a half hour early for her appointment. She was all broken up, as if she could wait in your office. My tie on straight? Yeah, you're good. Here it comes. Hey, Matt. The boy's hormones are always raging. She's cute. How did you? Don't worry, Foggy. She's all yours. You're such a jerk. All right. Good morning. Oh, hello. Matt Murdoch. And this is my associate, Franklin Nelson. Foggy. Maggie Farrell. Pleasure to meet you, Miss Farrell. Oh, please. Maggie. Fair enough. Maggie was my mother's name. Please have a seat. Can I get you something to drink? Water, cup? I'm fine, thank you. May I ask a question, Mr. Murdoch? Matt. A question, Matt. Shoot. Why does a blind man keep a photograph in his office? Close your eyes. Excuse me? Trust me. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Old Spice? Very good. That's exactly how my dad smelled to me every day. When you're blind, Maggie, it's the little things that take on great meaning. So, what brings you to us today? Her heartbeat. It skips a beat. There's something odd. A smell. Chemical? It's very simple, Mr. Murdoch. I want to sue NJPNL, New Jersey Power and Light. That's a pretty tall order, Maggie. Why would I have cancer, Mr. Murdoch? They gave me cancer. Chemical. Of course. Chemotherapy. What is wrong with you? How do you ever expect me to get anywhere on time if you don't give me the right directions? Gentlemen, my husband, Sean. A pleasure to meet you. You know how I hate this neighborhood. Nothing but bad memories. Sean, please don't. I told you I didn't want to come here. Look, Mr. Murdoch. Mr. Murdoch, Maggie and I, we grew up in the kitchen, and I worked real hard to get us out. So the sooner we can get this over with, the better. Old Spice. Well, if you don't mind me asking, Mr. Farrell, why come to us then? He's wearing Old Spice. No wonder because she wants you. You're supposed to be the best. You're on TV. You're the kid from the neighborhood who's made good. She wants the best. So that's what we do. We come to the best. For the next 4 hours, we listened to her story. Basically explain how they were dumping chemicals in, very much like, what was that movie based on a real story?
Aaron Brockovich?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much like that, except she's the one who's infected and has cancer. Of course, trying petitions, doing nothing. Sean's blood pressure. He's impatient, agitated. We hire an inspector. Oh, for crying out loud, Maggie, just get to the point. Look, Mr. Murdoch, when we got married, I promised my life I would take her away from this hellhole. 7 years ago, I got a job with the sanitation department. It ain't glamorous, but it bought us a nice house and a picket fence in the burbs. We moved out to start a family. And now this happens. Sean, please don't. She has ovarian cancer, Mr. Murdoch. We can't have kids. We can never have kids. They took that away from us. They took that away. Damn. I want to thank you both for coming in and trusting us with your case. I promise you, Franklin and I will give this our utmost attention. But I do have to warn you, Maggie, this will be a very long and painful fight. Pain I'm used to, Mr. Murdoch. It's time I may not have. Franklin, could you? If you'll both follow me, I just need you to fill out paperwork. And please, call me Foggy. She's a remarkably brave woman. But there's something about... Mr. Farrell, a moment if you please. You say you grew up in the kitchen. Yeah, spent most of my youth here until I found Maggie. I know this may sound silly, but did we ever meet? No, Mr. Murdoch, I'm positive. You and I, we never crossed paths. Mr. Murdoch, your 1 o'clock, Mr. Morrison is here. Adrenaline rush. Heart's racing. Farrell's lying. Doreen, please show Mr. Morrison into my office. Right this way, sir. I'll be right in. There's a heat wave coming. I can feel it in my bones. We now learn the biographical on ANC Nero, my father's son. A standout student of the NYC public school system, Nestor Rodriguez showed early signs that he was destined for greatness. The son of Hispanic right activist and NYC councilman Hector Rodriguez, Nestor did not fall far from the tree. By age 13, Nestor's concern for his community was already evident, from working in soup kitchens to building housing for the homeless. And when the NYC crime racket skyrocketed within the Latin community during the Cross Bronx drug war, Nestor took matters into his own hand, spearheading the creation of the Street Angels, a controversial but effective neighborhood watch group whose popularity soared as the crime rate dipped. That effect would be short-lived, however. Just as the Angels reached the peak of their popularity, tragedy struck when a vigilante known as Daredevil discovered the slain body of Nestor's father, Hector Rodriguez. Amidst swirling rumors that Councilman Rodriguez's murder was a calling card from the very gangs his son was in policing, the Angels disbanded just as quickly as they had formed. And just as quickly as he had won the spotlight, young Nestor disappeared into seclusion. Little is known of Nestor's life during his self imposed exile. 5 years later, maximizing on the vast fortune he inherited from his father, Nestor rechristened himself Nero and resurfaced to begin his well chronicled rise as a media mogul. And today, with his flourishing indie hip hop label, trendy restaurants, and signature clothing line, Nero is without question America's #1 entertainment entrepreneur. His best-selling fragrance only has taken the market by storm, as his unique claim to never smell the same on any two people, and Nero's first solo album, My Father's Son, remains the fastest-selling album in Billboard history. Widely considered one of NYC's most prominent and eligible bachelors, Nero's star shows no sign of dimming. Recently seen alongside former Mayor Rudy and Rudolph Giuliani, and Hell's Kitchen's lawyer act. But it is a 2004,
I
so
know, it's a totally different reference now.
I know
That was
Nestor
he was a good guy back then.
Yep. Was presented with the Civic Medal of Chink. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I guess this loser didn't get the memo. It seems that no matter how much you fumigate a house, there's always a roach or two that's left alive. Please, please don't hurt me. I was just looking. I just needed a little crank, man. There's no crank in this neighborhood. Not anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please don't hurt me. Please, please, I'll do anything. Just don't hurt me. You're done up there, Gil? I will be as soon as you hand me that screwdriver. Paper said tomorrow's going to be brutal. Worst heat wave in years. Screwdriver? Why is it every year we got to go through this with the AC? Excuse me, officer. I need to be placed under arrest. Okay, that's funny. But then, oh, baby. You're so wicked. What's going through that evil head of yours? Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, so
Uh-oh.
demanding. Oh! But I'll say this. We're going to come back to this bit because there's something that is very misleading. But what did you think of that first issue?
It's a setup, right? It's very much a comic of its time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
Definitely.
it's setting up a lot of new elements. So, I love the cover series. I
Oh,
think they're
yeah.
really effective. Don't love Chonky Daredevil, but
No.
everything was chonky back then.
Yeah.
Fat
Basically,
Batman was a thing too.
well, yeah, but that was more thanks to Frank Miller. And
Yeah, exactly.
they most kept that when doing Dark Knight Returns. Since then,
Yeah.
he's always been chunky. But no, he wasn't chunky in the first issue.
No.
You
No.
forget he was chunky in the last two issues.
Like, it was a weird time in comics where martial artists and gymnasts were chonky.
But yeah,
You'll
basically
notice
now.
you'll notice
Sorry.
my cat Scout has joined us.
Oh,
So,
I see him. Nice,
he's
nice.
giving a take too. Yeah. Oh, sorry to call
I
attention
didn't
to
even
your
see. I
cat.
was just focusing on the pages.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's been here a while.
Yep. But yeah. So they call the character Johnny Socket. Why? Because they cut out the eyeballs.
Mhm.
And basically, they're talking about how if it's true, this will be the third such murder in as many weeks. But Daredevil hasn't been paying attention. Why? Because it's not happening in Hell's Kitchen. It's happening outside of the kitchen. For him, not my problem. And then, so yeah, and they're also worrying about this mysterious other group of vigilantes who are doing stuff. Because apparently that's what they're starting to say. There's a new superhero team in town. More on this and that after this only. Yeah, so we're having again this young the young kid now a grown adult and everything. This is him Nero.
Mhm.
Like the car outside. The club is just west of here. You look good, but you know that. I'll be outside. Uh, um, Gunfire,
Nice.
sirens, breaking glass. Thanks to my enhanced senses, there are sounds that. Oh, hold on. Oh, just one second. Just got a text from something.
Oh, okay.
I'll cut this out when we do it when I edit it. Just a sec. Okay, anyway. Gunfire, sirens, breaking glass. Thanks to my enhanced senses, these are the sounds that lull me to sleep. But not tonight, nor last night, nor last week, nor since I kicked the bad guys out of Hell's Kitchen. Now it's just quiet. Too quiet. Deafening. So this is playing up a case where he has actually succeeded in clearing out Hell's Kitchen.
Mhm. Great inner cover page too.
Yep. Um, that's not helping either. I've been lying in a puddle of my own juices for the last hour.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew. I think we all felt that way this summer.
Hold on a sec. Sorry. I should look in one of those ice, but yeah, like the air conditioner is not an option. Might as well put a jackhammer to the back of my head. Oh,
Mm.
that makes sense.
He's the swole looks extra ridiculous when he's not in costume. I don't know why. Like, look at those shoulders. That's absurd.
I agree.
Uh, though I don't know. I'd get used to the sound of the air conditioner.
Yeah, but for someone blind with sensitivity like him, like you said,
I
that'd be like a
yes,
jackhammer.
but you get used to it. Put it on the other side of the room.
Yep, but keeps the demons out. Maggie. Oh geez, just imagine
Mm.
that image. From I will say I love these perspective shots.
Yeah, the flashback when he could see almost like the Wizard of Oz.
Oh boy, look at this. That is beyond chunky.
That that's
And
that's
look at
like
his legs. Look at his legs.
that's like Bane Venom Swole. That's too much, man.
Only one remedy for insomnia. Paint the town red. How sad am I? Even on a night like tonight, when I know the kitchen's calm, I'm compelled. Compelled to run into some blind alley looking for some scumhead to bash in. And but yeah, so it's he's heading on over to or to run after some costume idiot who doesn't have the good sense to stay out of my neighborhood. Maybe that's my problem. I've been
Mm.
always running after something. By the way, you'll notice there's a little something here when we do a flashback that's going to keep changing
Oh,
every
yeah,
time.
I noticed that. It was his glasses,
Oh no,
the
not the
first
glasses
bit.
here. Well, the glasses here, but there's something in his shirt.
Mhm, mhm.
We'll find out what that is later.
Very
When I should have had a good sense to run away. Ah well, use crying over spilled toxic waste. Ah.
sad.
So even on a night like so, basically, so much of this is just him pontificating. Clearly, Cassandra just wanting to get all this
Yeah, it's really going
flowery
back to
purple
kind of the
prose.
Frank Miller style.
Yeah, but even Miller though would have it be like comparing it about like the love of the city or things like that.
Yeah, it was, comics were very, very into this at this period. It's kind of a snapshot of the time in comics.
Mm-hmm. Hold on a second again.
Mhm.
So yeah. So of course he's focused like, okay, folks, back up. There's nothing to see. So what we got? So basically, there's been a couple of other kids, vigilantes, who have come in and beaten him to the punch. They call themselves the Sanitarians. So he basically has his own, like a new, like a rival group.
Mhm.
Just a sec. Get ready, New York, New York, and get ready, New York, because here's Johnny. As nighttime, New York continues. They basically now they've gotten another killer of Johnny's socket. Then we see someone from the point of view taking him with our spotlight reporter, Coco Dior. Coco. So basically, we see someone else is getting
Mhm.
offed.
Mhm.
And then someone sees them and runs off. And it's like, I didn't see much. I heard a commotion out back of the club. And when I noticed that the fire bat and the back fire exit was open, there's a fire hazard. Club can get a hefty citation. The fire marshal were out there. So yeah, goes over there. Like yeah, and I saw them. Yeah, and the killer and the girl. It was pretty dark, hard to see, but I can tell I must have startled the hell out of the killer, so they couldn't see who it was.
Mhm.
So in other words, they got it before they could finish they got the eyes, I guess. Did you get a look at them? Eyes. I'll never forget those eyes. What about the rest of him? Did you get a good look at his face? Yeah, like I said, it was dark and he bolted in the minute he saw me. Bolted? Yeah, like a bat out of hell. And what about the girl? Oh man, what he did to her eyes. So yeah, and he's paying attention to the news. All the while, then they're meeting up with Maggie again and Jessica.
Hey.
Jessica,
Yay.
she's there to help out. Like Maggie, I must admit that the complexity of your case are troublesome, but not insurmountable. So, in order to help us begin in building a case against NJPNL, we have enlisted the help of Miss Jones. I'm a private investigator. Oh, I wasn't expecting. I was hoping to begin my investigation by asking you and your husband a few questions. I had assumed he'd be joining us tonight. Yes, yes, he was supposed to. Unfortunately, he threw his back out jogging. I see. Well, perhaps we can begin with just you. Mr. Murdoch has informed me of the cause of your cancer, but might I ask if the toxins have affected your eyes as well? No, no, they haven't. Why? Well, Mr. Murdoch does tend to keep it pretty dark here in his office. It hasn't escaped me that
Mm.
you're still wearing sunglasses.
Mm.
Oh!
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a
so
black eye,
true.
Mr. Murdoch. I have a black eye. I wasn't looking where
Mm.
I ran into a door frame. She's lying. Jessica Foggy, can you excuse me for a moment?
As somebody who's has run into door frames, I've never understood why that's the excuse, the domestic violence excuse, right? Because you'll hit your forehead or it'll hit your nose before you'll hit your eye socket.
Unfortunately, though, she doesn't take any of it. And she basically said, I hired you to handle my case, not my personal life. So handle my
Mhm.
case as she storms out. Okay, I like that image there, though. Oh, not there. Oh, come on. There. You know, the shadows, the
Mhm.
silhouettes. I like that.
Oh, yeah, that's, there's some effective art.
Oh, yeah, turns out they live in Hoboken.
Hoboken! Ooh,
Oh,
I'm
I'm
dying!
dying! Hoboken!
Ooh, I'm dying
Dying
again!
again! Excuse me, but sir, can you help a fellow American down his luck? Here! And what happened to us, Sean? Oh, jeez, Maggie. No, really, what's happened? This is about my not being able to have kids, right? My cancer, it has nothing. Stop it. Please just tell me. Stop what? Why does everything have to be about you? You used to be such a homebody. Now 3, 4 times a week.
Mm,
Like I told you a dozen times. And I just like going for a walk. It clears my head. For 6 hours, it clears my head. I mean, with everything that's going on, the lawsuit, my cancer. Would you stop with the cancer already? I'm starting to feel like I'm the one that's dying. What did you say? Nothing. Where are you going? Don't you dare leave this house, Sean Farrell. Don't you dare walk on me. I'm not blind. I know where you're going. What have you got? Some little tramp on the side? Some little whore? Well, you tell your little whore that she can have you. She can have you, Sean. Sean, are you listening to me? She can have you. Notice how she switches from being this sweet girl lady to this demanding.
well, that's how it was depicted back then. It was sort of, these people are bad for each other instead of abuse being all one way back
Yep,
then.
she could have you. Okay, great image there too. Again, the artwork
Mhm.
has moments where it's fantastic.
Oh, the colors are great.
Yep, Danny Mickey did, I believe, did the coloring. Old
Mhm.
Spice, Old Spice, with a hint of chemo.
Hmm.
Oh, look at this! Looks almost like the spirit, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
very much like the spirit for sure.
Yep. So oh, look at
Nice.
that!
That's a great splash.
Follows him, but then clang, 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 clang. And El Numbre de congratulations, Orisha. You've conquered the devil.
Mhm.
So it's the sanitarians. So yep, number
It's a
three.
6-book series, right?
Yep, that's why I'm starting to go through it a bit faster. Because really, again, a
It
lot of
was
this stuff.
set up, yeah. Oh, wow, the art styles changed.
Oh, I think this was after the time skip. Not the time skip,
Okay.
the delays, the big delays.
Oh, okay. Because there's more, like, I can't tell if those are computer textures or just more I mean, if somebody had to color that, no
Yep.
wonder it was
Oh,
delayed.
it was Richard Izanov, and I think he was doing different styles by this point.
Okay. 'Cause I mean, all of a sudden, there's a lot more detail.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
And then, yeah, out of my hands now, boss. Little man does not strike LAS. Say the word. So yeah, obviously they're bringing up a fight.
Mhm.
Again, just a big fight as they're saying like, wait, please, let's all stop for a moment. We've all gone up on the wrong voice. It's his voice. Something about it. Perhaps with the heat and all, he's making sense. No, just intoxicated. Turn him off. Get out while you still can, as you wish, but you don't look like you're in a shape to be delivering sets, Diablito. Go screw your boom. So yeah, like he wakes up. How long is he out?
Yeah.
And he lost track of Sean. Of course he did, right?
Of course, because there's 4 more books to go. Well, 3.5 more.
Well, is he the villain though? So yeah, then it gets word of so far they're again talking about Johnny Sockets, and like I said, so much of this is just padding, padding, padding.
Very padding, yeah.
You don't see Nero again as he's giving a talk. I could just start going through and breathing. Yo, Daredevil, Daredevil, yeah, some Daredevil he is. I'm not Daredevil. I'm not. How many times have I told you not to use your fist? Hit the books. Hit the books. Don't turn out like me.
Mhm.
Don't turn out like me. See again?
Yeah, it's different.
Uh, Jeez. Dad, what are you trying to tell me? Like, you bastard! What the hell's gone into you, Maggie? You're what got into me. What? All I said was that maybe we need a little help. I mean, look at you, Maggie. The can't. Hello? Oh boy, just who the hell's on the phone? Tell him to call you back later. I need to go. Sure, of course. I understand. Quick question, Maggie. I really need to go. Could you stop by my office tomorrow? Sure, sure, not a problem. I'm out of here. Oh boy. Oh, but here he's going to use a different outfit.
Mhm.
I tell you what, this is the issue that was the last one before they went on a pause.
Oh, okay.
And let's roll. And then, oh, look at this. Some and sanitarians, my ass. Look how much bigger he is than that bike.
What is that outfit? That looks like, an Elden Ring? General
Yep.
Radahn and the little horse? Like,
Yeah, am I right? But
I mean, that was the era again, everything was big, but that's absurd.
that is absurd.
Yeah.
So the next few issues.
So this is 4? Okay.
Yeah, there's four. As he basically deals with the sanitarians and telling him, leave him alone and everything.
So was there any advancement with the serial killer storyline in that 2nd issue? Sorry, 3rd issue?
Yeah, that was some of the new stuff saying there was another killer.
Right, okay.
Nothing visual, just the words.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Apparently, yeah, she can control water. They all have
Right.
powers.
Right.
Okay, enough. But yeah, they shake hands, and well, help
Yeah.
me. My father was a no. Did you know it was this part?
Mhm.
Hmm. Apparently, that stuff is true. It doesn't smell in the same person twice.
Mhm.
Oh, look at that. Turns out he's right there at the same alley.
Because comics.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait, meets like, Mr. Murdoch, Maggie, you're early. You're earlier. Yeah, well,
Mm.
sit down and join me. Yourself? It's my father. Excuse me a second. Hi, Daddy. Yes, Daddy. You're right, Daddy. I'm sorry, Daddy. I know it's been weeks. I'm sorry, Daddy. I promise. I promise I won't do it again. No, no, I can't talk right now. I'll call you back. Now's not a good. Yes, I'll call you back in a few minutes. I'm in the middle of something. So basically, then she says about Sean's like, "Do you love him?" And then finally, she does like, But then, of course, when she asks about his bruises, I fell. You fell. You know what, Mr. Murdoch? I believe you. But how would you feel if I jumped to the conclusion that someone in your life was
Mhm.
abusing you?
Nah.
Got a
You're
point.
fired. Yeah.
Screw you. You're fired. She fires him for that.
I mean, the thing is, most superheroes kind of abuse themselves, so she wouldn't be wrong.
Yep. But yeah, it turns out there's Johnny Sockets. They're then doing something in Matt's notebook.
Mhm.
That's his notebook. Plus, there's medication there. Then we see Matt is about. Oh, she's dealing with not she. The killer. Sorry,
Right.
is dealing with this guy now. And then, oh,
Okay, so he does the eyeballs on a notebook, and that's how he chooses targets.
yep.
Okay.
And then, how'd you get in here? He meets up. It's Matt there. Turns out he's asking about his father. I know that your father was a good man who you don't know Jack. Yeah, he was a very good man, and I wanted to be just like him. That's why he started the Street Angels. So basically, yeah, he started the Street Angel, but turned out, of course, his father worked with Fisk. How else did he get elected?
Of course.
But then, of course, he then tells him to shoot the boy because he's actually caused him a hindrance. But no, I wouldn't do it. I don't want to do it. Die, you piece of, you fat piece of burp. Die, bang. Hey, kid. Hey, kid. See you around. So basically, he did everything. Oh, look, yellow suit Daredevil.
Oh.
You're
Oh,
too
because this
late.
is this wait, is this
Early days. This is early.
early days? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Look
Okay.
how young he is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
And
That's
then
cool.
he spent the next weeks, the next months answering police questions, but also doing everything, shredding every bit of evidence,
Hmm.
anything he could to keep his to save his dad legacy. His legacy would save with me. My memory of him wouldn't hold up as well.
Hmm.
So that's why you do it. That's why he started the sanitarian. But why? Well, but he said it really does work. But then he tells him you should be paying attention to this giant socket and not us.
Hmm.
So basically, this whole thing went off like it was a tangent.
Okay, so it was Phil. It was Stretch. Also, hey,
But
maybe
also
we'll
more father stuff. This is the first of the fathers we're going to be focusing on.
okay, fair too, but it's also creating a bunch of characters to see if you can get the next Wolverine.
Yep, unfortunately, we never see them again. And
No, no. Yeah. I don't mind some of the designs. They're just, there's a
yeah.
lot of them established at once.
Oh, explain why he looks differently. Apparently, he was taught this weird voodoo ritual. If you look at how he is here, and then look how he is there.
Well, Orisha's indicate it would be Yoruba. Yeah.
Yeah, see what I mean? No, so it
Yeah,
actually
okay.
changes
Yeah.
how he looks. That's why he looks so differently when he's out
Right.
as the sanitarian.
Okay.
But yeah, so he's about ready, meeting up with a investigator who's saying that at the body of one of that recent victim, they found his notebook.
Okay.
So they're trying to figure out what's coming on. They're wondering like maybe it's a spade, but they can't seem to get much details out of it. So now Matt's starting to think because he's smelling it. He's thinking like Old Spice and chemo.
There we go.
So he thinks it's Sean.
Right.
I mean, come
But
on, walks out for 6 hours.
it could be the wife too.
And then, but then he's remembering a detail. Farrell.
Mm-hmm.
That was his dad.
Okay.
Farrell's butcher shop. Oh no, Maggie. And so yeah, he heads on out there, gives them a call, trying to give a warning, but she's basically doesn't want to hear any of it. Sean isn't what he. Sean isn't what he. Look, I have to go. Please listen to me. You leave my wife alone. Stop putting crazy ideas in her head, and don't ever call back here again. So yeah, he stomps up there, but then right the same moment was foggy. Ding dong in the kitchen. I wasn't Mr. Murdoch. I wasn't expecting you. It's over, Sean. Where is she? Where's Maggie? Oh yeah, it's all over. Over is an understatement. You know what, Mr. Murdoch? Matt, you know what? I may not have always shown it, but I really loved her. Cut the crap, Sean. We're a long way from the old neighborhood. Hey, watch the language. This is my house. Wait a minute. I gotta double check to make sure. Did he say cut the crap, or was it? Did they actually? That would be something else in this issue. Nope, it was cut the crap.
Okay.
I just want to make sure. Man, where's Maggie? What did you do to her? Then basically, we're like our fathers. Don't even try to put Jack Murdoch in the same league as my dad. No less the same sentence. My dad was a saint, a hell of a man. At least until battling Jack Murdoch put him in the hospital, crushed his orbital socket. Did you know my old man lost his eye because of that? He was never the same after it. It broke his spirit. Jack Murdoch broke him. They basically said, like, let me tell you something, Matt. She's nothing but a monster. A monster. A demanding monster. All I was trying to do was make a better life for her. She wanted out of the kitchen, so I got her out. Moved to Jersey. Took a job in sanitation. Sacrificed all my dreams. Then one day she looks up at me and she says that every time she looked at me, all she could see was wasted potential. So I started and thought I'd surprise her. I started going to night classes in the city 3 nights a week. Computers. Computers are supposed to be the future, you know. She thought I was having an affair. I tried to. I don't know. I just couldn't argue with her anymore. I know it was the cancer affecting her brain. Ever since that, she hadn't been the same. But even knowing that, I kind of gave up fighting. I let her believe whatever the hell she wanted to believe. In her own perverse way, it was payback. Payback for the affair she was having with you. What? I should have known. I should have. Sure, you were the neighborhood kid who made good, but there are plenty of good lawyers, right? And right here in Jersey. So why you? Did you know she kept a scrapbook on you? Your whole freaking life, all your accomplishments, even through all the Daredevil and tabloid crap, she kept it all. She showed it to me too. Pretty sick, eh? Then that day in your office, I could see it. I could see the way you were falling in love with her too. Sean, this is insane. You have no idea what you're talking about. Let me get you some help. But then it turns out, when she say, like, where's Maggie? She said she was leaving to see you. She what? She went to, oh my God. You really, really don't know. So he thought he was just agitated. He didn't realize he was stabbed.
Okay.
But then Maggie's there with, turns out she was the killer.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, think about the first 2 were women, which means, you know, they were having a beat. She didn't care who she was with, man or woman. Because think back to that first issue.
Well, yeah. Oh, right. That's right. Yeah.
It was like, oh, so demanding.
Okay.
It was her.
So she was
Johnny Stuck.
Well.
Yeah. So she's again. She didn't care, man or woman.
She's a grade A psycho loon.
Yep.
Yeah.
And but then she drugs him. He's trying to get over there, but then sure enough, oh, look at the cuts. I bet you're wondering why I've taped your mouth, even though I've drugged you. It's because even with the screams, the drugs, the screaming can be just horrible. So she's tired of the.
Does she actually have cancer?
Yes.
Okay.
She does have cancer, actually.
And she's got the strength to kill people. Good for
Uh,
her.
but yeah, so as a
Good to be an overachiever.
I know, it's a stretch. I
It's
think he has a.
comics. Yeah.
So first of all, what you think? I think he has a crush on me. Silly boy, Maggie. Put it down. Let's discuss this. Hello, Matt. Please, what's this all about? Why are you? What's the point? And what's the point? You don't get it, do you? You're the point, man. You've always been the point. This is about you. This is all your fault. You're doing even this. He was supposed to be you. I don't. Cut the burp, man. I know who you are. All I've been trying to do is get your attention. I wanted to do it slowly, torture you. I just no idea it would take you this long to figure it out. So I had to speed things up a bit. After Mr. and Pfeiffer, poor Mr. Pfeiffer, so in love with his life, I actually felt guilty seducing him. I left your notebook, your address book at the scene. Have you listened to the TV? Seems the authorities finally have a lead on the Johnny Socket murders. Once again, Matt, you're going to be headline news. That can't be good for your law practice. How'd you get my address book? You're really a perfect detective, aren't you? She was there a half an hour early.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, she swiped it there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, basically then she intentionally sent Sean on a distraction.
Right.
But then when she
So
was
she got the black eye in a scuffle.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then she then sent him in the wrong direction. Then basically when she had found 2 years ago when she found out about the cancer, she saw during the time when they were saying Matt Murdock is Daredevil, she felt like it made sense. And she blames him. It's like, if not for you, I wouldn't be here and be where I am. I wouldn't have gotten cancer. And he never would have touched me. What? I was just a little girl, damn it.
What?
We'll get to this. Then, as if enough tongue hadn't been flung on me, Sean began having an affair. Where are you going? Out. And for all of this, for every little bit of it, I was going to make sure you'd suffer. I was going to make you feel my pain. All right. What better way to hurt a hero than to let the world know that a string of serial killers were dedicated solely to him? Johnny Socket? Blind?
Yeah, okay.
Sean's late night rendezvous allowed me plenty of time to do my thing. Oh, and by the way, these bruises, Sean never laid a hand on me. He was too much of a wuss. But some of my victims weren't. Still, I had to kill Sean. I mean, he was cheating on me. Oh my God, Maggie, he wasn't. When they lock me up, they'll put me in a padded cell. I mean, look at me. I'm nuts. But that won't stop me from writing a tell-all book that lets the whole world know what Matt Murdock did to me. You'll be ruined. You'll never sleep another night knowing that it was all your fault. What's my fault? Stop talking in riddles. I'll have to read the book. Now, if you'll excuse me, Matt Murdock, you're under arrest. Everyone, hands where we can see them. But then, put the knife down. You're so obsessed with your little kingdom that you didn't even notice when the killer was right under your nose. Last warning, put the knife. Okay, you got me. It's over. Time to find a literary agent. Now, I'm pretty sure the guy shot her because that made him jump.
Mm-hmm.
You want to bet? No, it cracked the glass.
Yeah, it startled him. But
that's because look at him, he's sweating.
Yeah, this is like a modern Disney.
What the hell? Okay, no police gun is that powerful.
No, that's an exit wound.
Yep. But then now if you want to know what she says, my father used to D-word me. The fact they actually made that readable. My father. And then he's heading on out there. Why? Well, he's heading on over. He finds out where her father is. Now he actually lets the sanitarians keep doing their stuff. Why? They're not bad people. They're good people trying to do good. But he meets up with this old man. Remember, she was on the phone with her father.
Mm-hmm.
That's her father. All right. Oh, science type. Well, I ain't got nothing left for you hooligans to steal. And I'm not here to steal anything. Well, wonders never cease. Then sit yourself down and keep an old man some company. Drink? No. Good for you. Damn stuff never did me any favor. Had diabetes most of my life. Drank until the doc said my legs had to go. Not like they didn't warn me. Even drank myself blind.
Blind,
So what's
yeah.
your name, boy? What can I do for you? Maggie Farrell. What about the no good tramp? You know her? What's she in trouble for? You knock her up or something? She's your daughter. Yeah, she's my daughter. So what? What's it to you? She's dead. Oh, jeez. I knew she was sick, but how? What happened? What happened is that her child molesting father should have died a long time ago. What the hell does that mean? You're a monster. You took away her childhood, her innocence. Hey, wait a minute. I don't have to answer to you. You come into my home uninvited and you want to judge me? Who the hell are you? Who the hell am I? My name is Matt Murdock. It was him.
Oh.
The man he saved.
Oh, geez. Oh, that's a flask.
Yep. And he was blind because he
Oh.
drank himself blind. And she blamed Matt because he saved her father. Because of that, he kept on
Okay.
molesting her.
Okay.
Oh God. Oh dear Father in heaven. Father, Father,
Right.
forgive me. Forgive me. Battling Jack Murdoch was my father. Battling Jack wasn't perfect. Not by any stretch of the imagination. So what are the odds? His father, the son
Mhm.
of the butcher, and the daughter of the boy of the old man that he pushed out of the way would
Mhm.
all be connected.
It's comics. Hi.
Yep. Bad and Jack did some terrible things for some very bad men. But when push came to the shove, Jack gave the middle finger to those bad men. Perhaps he'd grown sick of the scum he had no cow tied to. Or perhaps he just couldn't stand the sight of his own reflection in his little boy's eyes. But one day, Jack Murdoch dug deep and found that part of himself that used to be noble and good and uncompromised by the world. He found his soul. And with that, he saved mine.
Hmm. That's
And that's it!
a story about child molestation and serial killers dedicated to the father.
I was just like, what?
You
But
know, it's
oh,
it's interesting how much comics has changed since that time. That's the thing
yeah,
that's kinda interesting about going back to, like, 2004,
I know,
'cause
right? But seriously, just what was Casada thinking?
I mean, that's
It was the
didn't Zack
EIC. That's why he can get away with making that book.
but didn't Zack Snyder dedicate Sucker Punch to his mother or something like that? I'm gonna look
Ser-
that up. Um,
Seriously?
I something like that. Let me don't quote me on that. Let's see here. Um, yeah, dedication to Marcia Snyder, his mother.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Okay. See what I mean? Know how this was a controversial retcon to the point where this is right up there. Then again, no. Remember this. It was under Casada's leadership that Kevin Smith retcon Felicia into being a rape survivor.
Oh, was this the
No. That was the
that was
Spider-Man
the other
blanket.
one.
That
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
other
yeah.
one that had the huge delays, and then Casada just let Kevin do that.
So what was the big retcon here? The
Oh,
origin?
the old man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
Yeah.
old man being a child molester now making it feel bad that Matt saved his life.
I mean that's one of the things about comics that I've increasingly become what about because you can't know that, right? Like
Yeah, you can't
when
know that.
you're
Now,
yeah.
it makes sense for her going crazy from the cancer, assuming that. After all that abuse she's had to put up with.
Okay, but if you know anybody who's going through chemotherapy, you don't have the strength to murder people
Oh, I agree
and
with that. That
like
made no sense. Maybe she was a maybe she was a mutant, or maybe she had a superpower.
yeah, there's something there, but it's just so funny how comics have changed because you could never write that story today.
Well, no, he could because he was the editor in chief.
Right, but
So
there's
even if he
no
was still
way
EIC, he probably would have, regardless.
but you would get so hammered by um women are the victims, not abusers group. I mean,
Well,
comics
but
are
they wouldn't know it
now.
until the second to last issue. Beforehand, they would have thought it was the man who
Yeah,
was Sean.
but comics have become this idealized people, clear good guys and bad guys. And I mean,
Ugh.
okay, maybe the whole part about a woman blaming a man for the bad things she's done, that might make it into some stuff now. But it just shows. I mean, 20 years is not a long time, but it's a
Yeah,
lifetime in terms of comics. And I mean, I've been having a lot of conversations with people lately about how the modern stuff just is boring.
there's still good stuff in it, but you're right. A lot of
Yes.
it is boring.
You
But
you have to sort through a lot of stuff, and a lot of the really good stuff is like digital download only,
hmm
and things like that. But I mean, okay, we look at those. That was, I mean, pretty tasteless.
yeah,
But I remember reading stories like that at the time. Okay, I was 20 years younger, but it's like, "Oh my god, so cool, so edgy," you
yeah.
know?
But
So
again, just this type of writing, you're just like, what the hell, Joe?
well,
Even
but
when the book came out, it was that's what we've been waiting for.
that was also the height of decompression. For
True.
all the fill. You could have told that story in 3 books.
Right, but of course it's 6 issues. He's the EIC and everything, so
Well, I think also they pitch a 6-issue series, that they sit down to write it, and like, "I don't have enough story. What do I
yeah.
do?
Well, come
Start
on
up
with
a
the
whole other
sanitarians.
team." Yeah, yeah,
And I gotta say
yeah.
though, I did of all of it, I liked Zeno's story.
Yeah, and it like that got cannibalized to do this weird, okay, it was the time and it was the imprint, but it was schlocky, and yeah, it
Would you
that
know his was the best Nero's story.
Nero, yeah, like that was
You felt bad for
interesting.
him. His
Uh,
dad was a good man who had to get make deals with the devil.
yeah, and it just sort of didn't go anywhere. But
Yeah.
there's I don't know, it's just this is the thing about these characters that have been around for decades now. I mean, we're
Yeah.
going on we're approaching 100 years on Superman.
Yeah.
In our
Yeah. Well, no, we're
lifetime.
approaching 90 first, then 100.
Yeah, 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 but within our lifetimes, God willing, we're gonna reach 100 years of Superman.
Yep.
And the way they keep adding to the backstory instead of figuring out new stories going forward to tell is, I mean, it's been going on for a while the same way. Is that around the same time as Wolverine Origins? It predates
Yep.
Hush, because
Yeah.
Hush did a pretty big
Yeah.
ad.
That is after Wolverine Origins. Yes.
Yeah, and so, I mean, this is not the only book to do that.
No, no, but it's one to do such so drastic of a retcon to the
No,
origin.
this predates Wolverine Origin.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, well, okay, it started before Wolverine
And
Origin,
then finish. But then to be
and
fair, though,
then
all Joe did was the covers for that book.
right, but it finished after Wolverine Origins, because
Yeah,
Wolverine Origins is 2006. Um, wow, you're right, the publication delays are something else on this book.
I told you.
Yeah. Whole Okay, so the first one came out in April 28th, 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's the one we just read. The,
Well, we read all of them, but yeah.
yeah, so that came out April 28th, 2004. The second one came out August 31st, 2005.
Yep.
Very well, okay, they were monthly: September 21st, 2005, November 9th, 2005, December 29th, 2005. But then the last one, November 15th, 2006.
Yep.
So
So,
it it started before Wolverine Origin,
but then ended after.
ended.
And like I say,
Yeah.
Now, to be fair about Wolverine Origin, they only did it because they knew if they didn't do it, Hollywood was going to do it regardless. So they wanted to make sure they had something on the ground for them to utilize rather than them being stuck with what Hollywood gives them.
I mean, in the case of Origin, see, there's another one that they keep creating these repeating loops with Logan. So what's it really adding to say this
Oh,
has happened
that's
again
why
and again and again and again?
that's what I liked about War Origins 2, where we
Yes.
found out what happened afterward and we find out his connection with the Creed family.
Yeah, but it's sort of like, why do we need to tell the same story again? You
True.
know, it hypes people up for this new bit of information about the character, and it adds very little. I mean, the cool thing about Daredevil to me that makes him something about a Batman clone is his Catholic faith.
Oh
And
yeah.
so that
Which
whole
doesn't come
thing.
into play it here.
Well, I mean, I remember when She-Hulk was on, there was a bunch of us joking about, part of the reason Matt Murdock put up with Jen's family shit is
Hmm.
because of the Catholic guilt. But it
Ah,
it is sort of, I mean, taking on too much responsibility for stuff. The only thing about this story is that um I think anybody in that time frame would jump to the conclusion he did.
oh yeah, that it was the husband and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know I would have.
But the idea that, I mean, when you think about that book and you think about current stories and you sort of think about the narrative now of everything I did that was horribly abusive and hurt people is a man's fault.
Yep.
Deep cut, man, deep cut. But
Well,
then
hey, remember
again,
also this though. This is also from the same man who thought all marriage is just a piece of paper when talking about One More Day and spider marriage. Remember, this guy had some skill. Like they can't have if they're not married, they can't have kids or whatever. And it's just like this is a guy with old fashioned mindset and viewpoints. Clearly,
there is an issue in comics even to this day.
I'm talking about just Joe specifically.
Yeah, but I mean, there are others. I'm not gonna name names, but there is a real stunted quality
Mhm.
of a lot of these creators, and I think that's why so many of them get into trouble with, say, much younger women,
Uh,
and things like that. There is just sort of this arrested development thing, and the idea it's very hard to write a happy or at least functional relationship if you've never been in one.
yep.
And so Marvel has this thing where
Now, I will say, when it comes to the Spider-Man one, you gotta remember, a lot of people who hated the Spider-Man marriage were also those who just wanted Peter to be single forever. Roger Stern is a notorious example of that. Because look at it, he wrote some great stuff with Superman Lois,
mhm.
but Super Spider-Man MJ, no way,
Yeah, MJ gets a really bad rap. I
because she was a
mean,
supermodel and he
and she,
was a nerd.
and she didn't start that way, and she's been a bunch of things. I
Would they
mean,
have complained if he married Gwen? I don't think so.
see, that's one of those things now that it's like, okay, Gwen Stacy's having a moment with Spider-Gwen. And I
Mhm.
I kinda like the way they've moved her over to Miles
Miles?
Morales.
Well, because it's a
So
different version of her.
and you can have that and give people the Gwen Stacy who are Gwen fans, and I understand why there are Gwen fans.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, I
But
mean, look at Emma Stone, look at her take, that made a lot of fans, made me more of a fan.
the biggest mistake they
Killed
made
her in
is
the second movie.
I don't know what they were thinking. I didn't see that movie in
They
theaters.
had to adapt, they had to adapt it.
I don't know why, because I didn't see that movie in theaters because I didn't wanna pay to be sad.
I don't blame you, it'd be like being I
Yeah.
mean, it's like having to be paid to go see, Star Trek 2 if you know the ending.
Yeah, it's like, I just don't and that's a bit of an issue with being an old nerd, is when things get adapted, I sit here going, "Alright," I mean, with the new Daredevil series coming to Disney Plus.
It's gonna ignore what came before because otherwise that would be another season, which would mean they'd have to actually pay the actors and creators more.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what they're going to include, because Disney's misdirected that way before. I mean, we've got Thrawn and Ahsoka, right? So obviously
Oh,
some
I
extended
love that.
universe
I
stuff.
love that. I love Thrawn and Ahsoka. Thrawn's always been my favorite villain. Great having the voice actor. I don't care if people saying he looks tubby. It's like, so Thrawn's on the
Oh,
older
that,
side.
oh, well, I mean, it's also been how many years?
Exactly.
That didn't bother me.
No,
It's
no.
just,
I'm just saying. I've seen others complain and saying, why couldn't it be? And they list all these handsome actors. I'm like, you're so. And I hate to say this, but you're being a cliche if you're going for that.
and I admit I didn't notice. I don't
Yeah,
care.
until you saw the image, then you were like,
I
oh,
would have preferred more of a prosthetic, so his head shape looked more like the show, but I didn't notice that part. But Disney's misdirected before on
mm-hmm.
how much they're going to use, and I don't remember if it was Charlie Cox or the director who said, like, guys, we're not announcing everything. Just
Yeah.
calm down.
It's
It's
like
gonna
everyone bugging James Gunn until he has to finally say everything before it's going to be loose canon, if not canon at all.
Well, he's confirmed Blue Beetle.
No, the
Uh,
actor is carried over, not the movie.
oh
The
no, but the
actor is
character.
the
Yeah,
character and actor is carrying over, but
right.
not the movie.
But he's
Everything
confirmed Peacemaker can,
again, the
right,
actors, not anything
not the
that happened
plot.
before. Yeah, they said they might do broad plots, like broad stroking the
Yeah.
plot, but
Oh,
not.
Viola Davis is Amanda Waller.
Oh, that
That
I'm so
yes.
glad. I am so glad for that.
Yeah, she's great.
So
She's
those
really,
three
really
are
great.
locked in, and I think that's because you already had Peacemaker season 2, you already had Waller show,
Yeah.
and you have he was just in Blue Beetle. I think that's why those three are locked in.
I think he also likes what Cholo Badinuernia, I always get his name wrong, did in that. It was a
Oh
good
yeah,
movie. It was a good movie.
it was a
Uh,
good movie. Was it fantastic? No, but it was surprisingly good.
it was entertaining. Yeah. And I do think that they're gonna, because I thought with the tone of the Daredevil we just read, the stuff they did with Elektra in the Netflix Daredevil series
Hmm.
was very on tone
Oh yeah,
for Daredevil, and I could be wrong, but I don't see anything under the Disney brand going intentionally that dark.
good point. Yeah, that's the
So,
other problem. This is what everyone kept saying was going to happen with Disney and Marvel, didn't they? Remember? They kept saying, "Oh, they're going to simplify and make it squeaky clean."
okay, they go dark.
Oh
I
yeah,
just don't think it's intentional.
oh
You know,
yeah.
WandaVision was dark, but I don't
But it
know
was
if they knew
under
what they were
a
doing.
guy. But it was under a guise of sweetness until the
Yeah,
end.
but it was like, this is dark, and so it's I'm curious. I mean, the original Daredevil had one of the greatest fight choreographies in
Oh
anything in
yeah.
Marvel on screen thus far, and I think,
And then ironically, Iron Fist had one of the worst.
yeah, well, he didn't have enough prep time, but I mean, that's something I found this book missed.
Yeah,
There was not enough Daredevil in this book to say anything really about
yeah,
fatherhood other than they did their best, you
yeah,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
again,
one of my favorite fatherhood arcs was when Plastic Man finds out he had a
yep,
son in
I
Justice
remember.
League. That was the best. But
I remember that.
if you wanna watch something about how a live action Plastic Man could have been, watch the Netflix Young One Piece.
Oh, I'm aware of that.
It's so good. It's so good, and you just realize this is all DC had to do with its bright, happy characters, is
Hmm.
just play
Hey,
it.
I can't wait for Superman Legacy, to be honest. I think that Gunn is going to nail it.
I'm going to give him a chance because Guardians 3 was great.
Agreed.
And, you know, with properties like Daredevil, when you look at sort of the history of the character, it is very grimy. It is very
Hmm.
grimdark, right? And especially with these increasingly dark retcons. And they're gonna have to make a choice whether they want to stay in the past or whether they want to take the character and either go way back,
Yep.
pre Frank Miller, or do a really dark series, make Hell's Kitchen kind of the dark part of the MCU.
Which they should, if you ask me. They really should.
I don't think it's a bad idea to segment the way they kind of did with Werewolf by Night.
Hmm.
I don't think it's a bad thing to sort of clump up types of characters so different things can have different tones and people don't have to watch everything. They just have to watch that one section
Hmm.
of the MCU because it's getting the fact that everything is just a lead into another thing is a lead into another thing. It's so weird because as a comics reader that shouldn't bother me. But every show just feels like a beginning that we end up seeing the end of in a movie.
Right.
And I mean, at least with the graphic novel format of the 2004 to like 2010. When did DC end Elseworlds? That's sort of when the graphic novel era
Wait,
started
wait,
to
wait, wait. Well,
splinter.
which time they ended Elseworlds? Because they ended them at two different points. They tried to start it up again, and then they did it
Oh
once
yeah,
and
not
ended it.
not the recent
No, I'm not talking about
reboot.
Black Label. I'm not talking about Black Label. I'm talking about they did try to start it up again briefly. It didn't go anywhere, but I think it was around this point actually is when it
Yeah.
ended.
Yeah, it was
Because it was
about the
right around. It was right around one of the last ones was Superman. What's Superman Red Sun?
Yeah, it was about the time when they stopped doing the self-contained stories and jumped back to ongoing continuity, and I think it was a really good point in storytelling. It Marvel struggled to keep up in that regard, but it lifted the Marvel stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, some of the Daredevil has always struggled post Miller's run to distinguish itself from
Kevin
Batman.
Smith was one of the better cases of doing it. Even though he pretty much embraced Miller and Miller's stuff, he still made it an interesting story.
Yeah.
Granted, he had to kill off Karen.
Yeah, and
Speaking of which,
that
I gotta ask you a question.
yeah.
Where do you stand about what they did with Power Girl calling her Paige now because they clearly want to distance themselves away from the Karen name?
See, I think you could do some really funny things with Power Girl as Karen.
And she has been a Karen before.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
but the fact that Leia Williams feels like, oh, I want to distance away from the Karen name. It's just like, why? She's
but
always been Karen, and Paige is a stupid name.
but poor Richard Grayson still walks around being called Dick.
They tried Rick and it bombed.
Yeah, so I don't Power Girl's one they just keep screwing with.
Yeah,
And
that's just why. Why feel like Paige? Why Paige? PG?
maybe somebody watched a lot of Charmed back in the day. I don't know, but yeah, it Karen Page
No, she's
kind
a
of.
Karen. She's Karen. She's been
Yeah,
Karen for
sure,
so
sure.
long.
Yeah. It just I don't I feel really bad for people named Karen because it's a perfectly nice name and
And now you'll be like, oh, don't be such a Karen. What did I do?
yeah, it just I don't know. It's
I just want to ask you about that one because that's always been on my mind lately. It's like, ugh.
I think that my take on these characters is that they've survived as long as they have precisely because they are timeless. They speak to elements of the human condition, and well, I do think they should keep trying to evolve,
Yep.
in terms of creating new characters for new generations. I think they shouldn't lose sight of, being a good person doesn't go out of style.
By the way, you want to know one character that I still feel is one of the most real comic characters I ever read, and
What?
still to this day is?
Really?
She is Kate is definitely one of the Kate Spencer, one of the
Yeah.
most real characters.
That's
Uh,
real. The one I always felt very real, even in the the surreal environment, was Terry McGinnis.
oh, him too, but I
Yeah,
think with her especially, and I just love it. Like, look at this point here. Look at it, where she's like, "I am so not doing what I'm saying," because she can't find her lighter. So what does she do though? Then she says, um, "Nicotine trumps dignity," as she uses
right.
the
The
the.
stove. Yeah, no, it's
And like, she's not a bad person, but she is a bad mother, for example.
and you know what? That was the thing about books at the time where
This was around 2004 as well.
yeah, they were really experimenting with heavily flawed like not anti-heroes.
Hmm.
Uh it They went way overboard. But there was sort of this period post No Man's Land, Batman's No
Yep.
Man's Land, where they really took Batman in a
Oh
decidedly
yeah.
dark place, that they were experimenting with, the violence of these characters and the fact that it would really have an impact on their psychology. And I think, the Daredevil Father's Day
Well, we
book.
just went over father, just father.
Yeah, they part yeah, we're part of that.
True.
An attempt to sort of go dark.
Yeah,
But
but again, no, like this was dedicated to his father.
a lot of comics lose the substance getting lost in the style.
Hmm.
And I mean, part of that is editorial, but part of it is just it is really hard to keep fan chatter out of your head
Right.
when you're writing, and a lot of these guys get really reactive.
Oh
And
yeah, we know that. We know that.
yeah,
And
or you people pull a Devin Grayson and just quit.
wait, so Devin Grayson is gone. I think they no, they did do a story relatively recently.
Yeah, they pop in, but they don't stay.
Or it's like,
So
oh, I had Fabian Nicieza on my channel recently. Great guy,
oh,
great
nice.
guy.
Awesome.
He was definitely coming off like he was done with DC because of how things went after New 52. And I did say, I hope you don't think I'm baiting you, but what do you think about what's going on with Tim? I don't know. I don't keep it up with it. But
Yeah.
somebody tells me he would not be happy if did tell him what was going on with Tim. I think he would be like, what? That's my
Yeah,
vibe. That's the
I
vibe I'm
mean,
getting.
I know there are certain things I don't keep up with it because if I don't know, I don't have to comment. So,
I'm pretty sure
um,
that one would get him ticked off given how much he loved writing Tim. But at the same time, no, I don't think he's a right winger. I think he's definitely left leaning. But that would make him torn. Like he'd be one of those because he's giving me this vibe of being someone who's mid,
right.
up to center,
What part are you talking about? You're talking about Tim Drake and
being bi, but he's written as gay.
see,
No,
I liked the beginning of that story. I thought
it
it was
was
better than John Kent, but it really got eclipsed. And
because Megan Fitzmartin clearly realized I'm calling him bi, but I'm writing him gay, and I'm gonna make Connor gay. And basically, you can so tell she had the I'm just saying this figuratively, the gay agenda of wanting to make as many people gay.
keep in mind who's buying comics now too.
Oh yeah, but then you also have the current writer of Hawk Girl. It's clearly trying to make her gay, and yet you're like, you can't do that to Hawk Girl. It is so intrinsically tied that she and Connor are
Carter Hall
Carter.
and
Yeah.
Shayara. Yeah, that
But unfortunately, though, they are treating it like, nope, if I want, to which I say, okay, then wait till they kill her and bring her back. Then they're going to undo it all because it's guaranteed, it is written in the character's DNA. You can't
they're
undo it.
let's face it, there's a dwindling number of people who regularly read comics, and the industry did it to themselves by really going whole hog on certain demographics and ignoring others, and then doing a hard pivot and pissing off their core constituency.
Hmm.
So, one of the few reliable sets of readers right now are LGBTQ people. And so they're
Unfortunately, the vocal ones who say turn everyone gay.
and I think that's part of a joke that they're taking a little too seriously, but I do also think that it's a certain element of they see certain storylines getting a lot of earned media,
Mm-hmm.
like the John Kent thing.
Yeah.
And
Of which Peter Tomasi did confirm to me they're never going to undo John being gay. Never, because it would be a backlash.
I don't have a problem with John Kent being gay. I just didn't like the
Or
way.
sorry, bye.
Right, but I didn't like the way the sexuality of 17-year-olds was handled as some sort of sensationalized, heavily
Well,
commodified.
I will say this. I will not. I will give and I will give make an exception with Tom Taylor because he was told do it by this point for coming out. He didn't want to. He did
Yeah,
not want to, and I give
but
him the man props for being open about that.
if they were centering the sexuality of 17-year-old girls, you'd have the Leave Kids Alone crowd screaming. And we all
Yep.
know it, and I do think we have to be a 17-year-old boy is not a man, period, end of story, and we have to keep that in mind. I mean, they could do some really cute stuff with some of the Teen Titans,
Yeah.
but when you forget what it is actually I mean, that's what I liked about the Tim Drake stuff was that it's like, I don't know what this is. I,
Again, that's
don't.
how it started, but as it went on, it eventually became I'm just changing, making him gay, and I'm going to write him not in character at all.
And I mean, all of that stuff is all about execution.
Oh,
And
funny thing. Sorry.
I do think a big like, like the Daredevil story, a big part of it is that these don't feel like stories people necessarily want to write. They're shoehorning stuff into the stories they're cleared to write.
Hmm.
So there's too much editorial in the wrong places and not enough editorial in the right places.
By the way, funny thing. I just well, actually, wait, I just had it. Don't tell me I lost it. I had a train of thought and I just lost it.
Uh-oh. You missed the train of thought.
Don't you hate when that happens?
It's been happening to me all week. Maybe that's a good time to wrap.
Yep, you're right. It's a good time to wrap.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much for coming on, Liana. It's so great to have you. If I got this timed out right, this will be my 301st episode
Hey, nice.
because
It's
I'm
like
planning on do.
ghost.
Yep. I'm planning on doing Ultimate Comics Avengers. That was Mark Millar's return to the Ultimates.
Oh my god, amazing.
Yep.
Sweet.
And that's my plan. I could change my mind as we get closer to it. Who knows? But until then, thank you. And thank you again. Thanks everyone for checking out.